Hey everyone, Ultrapro here again. First of all, I just wanted to say that I'm sorry I haven't been around for a while. My retro stuff has been sort of taking a bit of a back burner. Tends to happen. My interests. I have quite a few, and I tend to just kind of cycle through them. So I'll be into retro for a really long time, and then sometimes I'll take just a step back and just kind of do a few other things. But I'm always thinking, retro. I'm always trying to find wonderful new things and weird and wonderful things to play around with, and I'm trying to branch out and get more into other development, other ideas, other consoles, anything basically. And I've not done a channel update for a while, so I thought I'd do one of those and would share some of what I've been finding, because it's been maybe 6 or 7 months since I've done a channel update, and I haven't been buying much. I've not been going crazy, but in that, and therefore as a result of that, I haven't had much to show you since then, because at the time I was doing an update a month, but I can't do that anymore, so I'm just not buying enough shit. So this is another channel update, and it's probably going to be the last one for this year, simply because I don't see myself getting enough retro stuff to warrant another video in a little while. Having said that, I do have a shitload of stuff to show you, and most of it's pretty awesome. I'm hoping that you'll enjoy it. As you guys probably already know, I got a SNES at Revival with LED, and I actually took the wife along for that. That was in Wolverhampton back in April or May I think, around my I think it was just after our first anniversary. We went to Greece for that. Yeah, so I've got some good games for the SNES now. I've got some of the Hallmark games: Super Mario All-Star, Super Mario Brothers All-Star, or Super Mario All-Stars. Street Racer is actually really good, and that you can get that really easily confused with another game, or not another game, but another franchise. I thought that was Speed Racer, and that it was a tie-in to that Speed Racer cartoon, but obviously not. F-Zero, awesome racing game. Starwing. Now, a lot of you guys are going to say, what the fuck is Starwing? But that's the UK version of Star Fox. Super Mario Kart. Cybernator, fantastic game. I'm really happy with that one. Brilliant little platforming / robot shooting game. Tasmania, not a big fan of that. It's alright, but it's not as good as the Mega Drive version. And the main reason why I bought the SNES, Super Metroid. I love that game. It's really good. Yeah, so I got that, and I'm trying to work out the best order to go through all of this stuff in. In terms of purchases, which is probably the best thing to go into, I've obviously got a lot of handheld stuff. I've got a Game Gear, I've got a Atari Lynx, I have my Android phone, which I use with emulation for all sorts of shit. I've got one of these, which is a handheld Mega Drive. But I was never a big fan of Nintendo's handheld offerings. To be quite honest, I thought that the Game Boy was the biggest pile of shit on the planet. I just hated it. I always looked at anyone who owned a Game Boy and immediately said, what the fuck are you doing with that piece of shit, and why haven't you got one of these? Whenever I go out shopping in different towns or whatever, I will try and find retro items to buy. Tend to be the case that I'll see a lot of shit. There's always stuff that you've seen millions of times. The point I'm trying to make is that there's very rarely a time when I will go into a shop, a charity shop specifically, and actually really want to buy something that I find that's retro related. And I was in Kent with the wife back in September, and I found this. Mainly the only reason I bought it was because the wife was quite keen to have it and wanted to play Mario and wanted to play on it, and she's a fair Nintendo fan. She's not massive into it or anything, but she likes Mario. She likes the Mario franchise and games. She's got a Wii, and I had a GameCube, and I have a SNES, and I thought, why not? might as well. And it only cost me £8, and I got a really shitty copy of Pokemon Blue. And I got the original Super Mario World, another crappy copy. So I started delving into the Game Boy. You know, the plethora of things available for it. This, needless to say, is a Game Boy Color, which I far prefer. I don't see any reason or point or reason on this planet to own the original Game Boy, because it's just green, and I hate it with a passion. But this one I actually don't mind. The battery life is amazing. The only thing that I hate more than the colour problems with any of the Game Boys is its lack of a backlight. I don't know if you'll be able to see this right now. The flash should help out, but you switch this on, and I don't know if you can see that, but it's just, you know, I mean, it's great, it's Mario, it's fun, but why the fuck they didn't do a backlight? They obviously prioritised power management over picture quality or whatever, or I don't know, but for whatever reason they did, that was what they decided to do. No backlight. As retarded as that was, still quite fun, and I'm quite glad that I managed to get one. However, I wasn't all that keen on this style. You know, the Game Boy Color, it's alright, but the screen's a bit scratched. I have bought and paid for a replacement screen, which I still haven't received. I must have bought that about 5-6 weeks ago, and it's coming from Japan, but I have never received it. Anyway, so I ended up delving a little deeper into the Game Boy catalogue, and I have 4 original Game Boy games. Those are Super Mario World and Pokemon Blue, which you saw, Super Mario World 2, and Tetris, all obvious ones. I tried finding some good Game Boy Color games, and I really would love it if you guys would send me some recommendations. That would be awesome. But the 3 that I got are the Rayman, Spider-Man 2, which is really, really good, I love that game, and Aliens Thanatos Encounter. Now that's a horrible game. I cannot enjoy that game. I don't know why. It's just badly made. Yeah, less said about that the better. So anyway, I was deeply vexed by the Game Boy Color and the fact that it didn't have a screen light, to the point where I don't really enjoy playing it much. I started investigating, as I always do with these things. Whenever I get something, I try to find ways of making it better, but getting the best possible peripherals, getting the best possible games. And for the Game Boy Color, I decided that I wanted to find something to make the picture better, or the light, or whatever, and this thing is less than pointless. You know, it literally does nothing. I don't know if you can see that. It's just literally shit. It wasn't exactly cheap either. So there you go. There's the Game Boy stuff that I've got. That's the Game Boy Color, original Game Boy and Game Boy Color games. But there is something else. There's one other thing which I've got, which is sort of related to that. And as I just said, I tend to delve into these things. I tend to find best possible ways to get them to work, or the best. I just try to get, you know, the best out of it that I can. And so with the Game Boy, I started digging around online, and I found that the Game Boy Advance was a much better option. But I absolutely hate the flip open Game Boy Advance. I just don't like the flip open one. I know it's got a backlight, and maybe if I'd have considered, I probably didn't consider that again when I bought what I bought, but I might have got it, but I still don't think I would have done, because I love what I've got, and it's a Game Boy Advance, which is absolutely beautiful. It only cost me £7, £3 to post it. Came in its original box, which is in really, really good condition. And yeah, I absolutely love and adore this thing. I think it's brilliant. I love it to bits. I've gone a bit batty with the games, but they're really, really dirt cheap, the majority of them. And so, once again, as I said, I tend to delve into these things when I get them, to the point where I now have about 12 games. I am waiting for another one, but the seller, I'm not holding out any hopes that I'll get it from him, because it's been 2 weeks and it's not even been marked as dispatched. So anyway, let's discount that game. Yeah, so I picked up some nice Game Boy Advance games. Star Wars Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith. The Incredibles movie tie-in. Robotech, that's pretty good. It's kind of a conversion of the one on the Saturn that I got not too long ago, which I since sold. Super Street Fighter 2. I'm not a big fan of that because you've only got 2 buttons that you can use on the Game Boy Advance, and I don't know, it's just not the same as Street Fighter with 6 button, where you can, you know, low, medium, high. I don't know. It's good though. It's alright. It's a pretty good game. Super Mario World, which is Super Mario Advance 2. Don't know what that means. Mario Kart Super Circuit. Mario vs Donkey Kong. That is a pretty awesome game, to be fair. I hate Mario most of the time, but all the Mario games that I own, I have to say I really like. F-Zero again on the Game Boy Advance. Now these 3 are my favourites other than Mario vs Donkey Kong, and they are Sonic Advance, which is a great game, Wario Land 4, which is phenomenal, and I'm quite enjoying this so far at the moment. It's Fire Emblem The Sacred Stones 2, which is nice. Really, really nice game. So anyway, yeah, that's me delving further into the whole Nintendo world. So I've got a lot more Nintendo shit now, which is good. Still not going to match my Sega collection, but I'm starting to think that I'm getting a bit more interested in Nintendo now. I also picked these up for my Game Boy Advance. This one, just a nice, convenient little carry case. I don't like to leave it out and get it dusty. You can put it on your belt. Not that I ever would. I'm not 5 anymore. And this one just keeps loads of games. They're actually both branded by game stores, which is again very nice. So what else have I got, you're wondering? Well, I received a box load of junk from my friend, a guy called Andy, and he basically phoned me one day and said, look, we're going through my mum's attic and we've got loads of junk to get rid of. Some of it might be worth your time, some of it you might be interested in, and would you want it? And I basically said, whatever you find, just tell me what you want for it and I will buy it off you. I didn't hear from him for probably well over a month, until a couple of weeks ago when he rang me and basically said, are you about? And I was like, yeah, why? What's up? Oh, I've got something for you. I was like, okay, cool, drop by. So he bought me a box full of shit, which included quite a lot of Nintendo stuff, including second SNES, so I now have 2 of the fuckers. Loads more controllers. I now have, I threw out some shitty ones. There was one that was broken and one that was unofficial. I now have 2 very nice condition official ones. Thank you, Andy. I'm also very, very happy with some of the other stuff that I got with it, because I've got quite a few peripherals. So those are the 2 controllers. I also got this, which I'm probably most happy about, which is a Competition Pro version. It's basically a carbon copy of a Mega Drive pad, only with just the 4 buttons for a SNES. But it's really nice. And what else did I get? Oh, there's the other SNES controller. So I've actually got 4. 2 for each. But the other thing that came in the box was something that I never in a million years thought I would own, and that's a SNES multi-tap. So if any of you know of any games that allow for 4-player, I'd be very happy to know. It's possible you're looking at me and thinking, you've fucking got one that does 4-player. What are you on about? But I don't know if those do or not. What else did I get? Oh, that was it. I also got this for SNES. It's the American version of Starwing, which is great, all well and good, but I can't use it. I also got another Game Gear. It was really not in a good way. It had definitely seen better days. Where the hell? The screen was off. The screen was off of the Game Gear, but I managed to salvage it. I've given a thorough clean to all of this stuff, and I've done a really good job. So I now have two perfect working condition Game Gears. This is my reconditioned one that I bought on eBay. Just goes to show, sometimes you should just wait before you get these things. If I'd known that he was going to bring me a perfect Game Gear, all it needed was that screen reattaching. I would have never bought that, but at least now I've got two, because these things, they're not built out of bloody diamonds like the fucking Game Boys are. These things, they're flimsy, you know. The sound will go, the backlight will go, the volume will go, the brightness will go. So they go wrong quite easily, and it's just really nice to have two working ones. I've got three or more in there that are fucked, that they won't work anymore. But it's just lovely having two that work perfectly. I also got some games, which I didn't show you. This was in the Game Gear. Pingo? No idea what that is, but the wife seemed fairly happy with it. I got another copy of Sonic the Hedgehog 2, and I got another copy of Sonic, but from Japan. So, yeah, pretty interesting stuff. I also got a second Master Game Gear converter. This one actually has the blue knob on it. My one, which is in the box, doesn't have the blue knob anymore. The other thing that I got was this, which was in the converter. Wonder Boy 3, so I've got a second copy of Wonder Boy 3. I'm just accumulating shit, basically. I'm going to sell all the stuff that I've got duplicates of. I'll probably sell the snares. The only problem with the snares is I didn't get a spare power supply with it. Now, what I did get, that Andy gave me, which was in the box that he brought me, which I'm very, very, very happy about. I would never have got one of these otherwise. But needless to say, I'm now the proud owner of a NES. I know what you're thinking. Why the hell have you got a NES? What the hell is going on with this world? You hate Nintendo. I was never a big fan of this when I was a kid. I thought it was the ugliest console I'd ever seen. It reminded me of VCR. I used to play it around my mate Chris Wastel's house. Never just never struck me as being something I would want ever. I know how beloved that controller is, but I just saw it as a rip-off of the Master System controller. It probably wasn't. It was probably the other way around, but you know what kids are like. So yeah, I was very, very happy with that. I got all the cables. Well, I didn't get an audio cable, a picture cable, or you know, digital output cable, but it's compatible with standard composite cables, which are good. And I got two games with it. There was actually a box for a game in the crate, but the game was not in there. The two games that I received were Solstice, which not sure about, and Silent Service, which again I'm not sure about. I don't think I'm going to have as much fun with this thing's catalogue as I did with the Master System or the Mega Drive or the SNES. I don't think it's got the same level of quality in its catalogue. I've got all the Mario games that I want. I don't really want to have to buy them all again. I'm not ever going to sit down and play an original Final Fantasy game or Zelda. So I'll probably never end up buying anything for it except for things like Duck Hunt or whatever. Because I also got this with it. It's perfect condition. Nintendo Zapper. And, as if that were not enough, I also got this. Misc Advantage arcade stick. Very nice actually, it's actually in quite good condition. Anyway, that's all I've got time for in terms of retro gaming. I'll probably do another bunch of Dreamcast games soon. I'm hoping to get some of this stuff together for my channel, like TurboGrafx. I know I did a couple of videos of that. I need to do some more because I really like that little console. SNES, Master System, Mega Drive, all of those things. One day I will get more stuff done on them, but at the moment I want to finish my Dreamcast programs that I started, so I will get on them as soon as possible. Otherwise, hope you've enjoyed the video, and I shall see you soon, of course. Take care. Bye bye.